I get it. I get it.
If we're trying to shoot.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You
Run small.
All right, guys, hope you're enjoying your day off on Labor Day.
You too.
For the however manyth year, 40th year. I'm ready. Questions, fire away.
Anything stand out about the film from Thursday?
No, not anything, I guess, worth talking about, really, from what we did. We need to create more space in the running game. We actually tackled pretty well, could be better. Trying to think of what else we talked about that wouldn't have matched up. Not anything really worth writing about.
You mentioned getting some room in the running game. Did anything stand out about what was going wrong for you guys?
We just got to get better at what we do. It's not a scheme or a concept issue. We just weren't very physical. We got to got to be a little more physical and find a way to create space.
Does that come from it just being a bunch of new guys together and maybe thinking a little too much and first time on the field, that type of thing?
No, it's just it was on silent. Why did it ring?
That wasn't you.
Huh?
I don't think that was you.
Oh, that's my wife's ringtone. So you saw me, I like panicked. She must have just woke up. That'll get me in the doghouse. Jenny's like, yeah, you're cooked on that one. It's not anything really worth noting. We just need to become more physical. You know, the interesting thing, I watched a few more games than I ever watched because we had an extra day or whatever. And it's not as easy to run the ball, you know. When you look at teams trying to rush the football, it's not as easy at times. Defenses are gaining a little bit on the offenses when it comes to stopping the run, in my opinion. But we still have to create some space and be more physical.
Two of their top three tacklers were safeties, so that accounts for what you were saying. They brought them down in the box. Did you use your normal strategy to try and clear the box, or is that something that advances as you go down the schedule where you'll try some things to
Well, there's
back
different
them up?
things based on, you know, their strengths, our strengths, matchups. You know, there's different ways to handle it each week. And just like you see with defenses, I mean, defenses at times choose to play split safeties, and then sometimes they play invert. Oregon plays split safety at times, and they play invert at times based on, I'm guessing, whatever they think is the strength of the offense. And so there's different ways to do things. We could have done some things differently. We didn't have as much variety in the package for that game, which would have contributed to it a little bit, but we need to be more physical. We got to create some space.
Mike, what have been your initial thoughts on this Oregon team?
What's what?
Your initial thoughts on the Oregon team?
Well, same thing as you. They're a good football team. You know, Oregon is playing really well. You know, I think they're well coached. They're spending a lot of money, and you know they've put a lot into that organization. And you can see they're a good football team.
You have a good tight end, but watching that guy, and I've watched him last season, and then what he did the other day.
Yeah, I got two of them. They got two of them. Yeah, they're good players. Yeah. You know, this will be a good challenge for our team, and they're going to be essentially going up against players that what people would think are comparable to the best organizations in the country at this time. So we're aware of that. I don't think there's any secret that they have really good players, and you know, but I feel like our players will be excited to compete.
Dan Lanning's from the Saban tree kind of, and spent time with Kirby Smart at Georgia. Do you see some similarities in what they do defensively and what you're doing now with Todd Grantham here?
Yeah, it depends on how they play. You know, as I mentioned earlier, they can play split safeties, they can play middle close. You know, it just depends on what attack that they want for the teams they're playing. But there's a lot of similarities in the concepts and what they're doing in the back end.
What will be important for Zane this weekend? Obviously, it's a tough spot to be making your first start. Just sort of what's going to be important for him leading up to the weekend and then in the game.
Well, it's a good practice this week, and our coaches need to put him in a good position. Need to give him things that I guess what he does best, and he needs to go play and be aggressive, not look over his shoulder. And he needs to go out and do what he's done all of his life, is play quarterback, go out and play hard and have fun and compete. And our coaches need to put him in a good position.
Have you had a chance to talk to Haas since? How's he doing attitude-wise?
He's fine. Yeah, he's I don't speak for him, but he's obviously wished he could play, and he's a very competitive player, but he's doing fine.
Like, how big a week is it for those backup quarterbacks, those two freshmen, just getting reps, getting comfortable, because you never know when your name's going to be called?
Yeah, so, Banks will work and get the work with the twos, and we just proceed as normal from that point moving forward. That's the world we live in at this time.
Is there anything you can do to prepare a kid for what he's going to see? Talking about Zane going into an atmosphere like Oregon, can you even prepare him for that?
I don't know. I mean, Zane traveled with us some in conference. We took him on several games. I think we even took him to Texas a few years. Was he here that year? I think we took him as a true freshman to Texas. He's been in it. Now he's not been the guy out there playing. I feel like he'll be fine in the stadiums that he'll be competing in this year. I don't know that that'll affect him a lot. The maturity of getting experience and going and playing would be more of a factor in my opinion. But we'll see. Everybody's different.
Isn't he kind of a cool, calm?
Yeah, he doesn't get riled up too much. You don't hear him a lot. Doesn't get too high, too low. He's pretty laid back.
Your first start as quarterback here was a home game against Houston. You got to start on familiar ground. Do you remember that making any difference as opposed to maybe that first start being on the road?
They threw me in the fire here at home at halftime. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember who we played the next week. And I don't remember where it's at. Oh, yeah, I do. I think it was Lincoln. Somebody can do the checks. Trammell asked me that the other day, and he was dead wrong on everything he said. And he really screwed. I mean, that was awful for him and his maturity. That was just awful what he did.
He was talking coaching.
No, what I'm talking is he asked me questions and had me going in my mind, and I knew I was right, but I wasn't going to say it because I figured he did his homework.
You guys started that season.
It was awful. It wasn't.
So that's why he's not here.
So when you think about this,
No,
somebody
I got
can
it
check.
for you. You started. Your first start was Houston, game 3.
No, I didn't start it.
No.
You didn't?
Halftime.
Okay,
They
then I
put
got
me in
that
at
intel.
halftime
Okay.
because I didn't even have pads.
Okay.
Now, I think the next week I went on the road Thursday night in Lincoln.
Well, the next week you guys played Illinois State after the Houston game.
Okay, so see, that's what I can't remember that. But I know it wasn't long because of what you asked me. I think I played on the road Thursday night in Lincoln because it was 15 degrees and sleeting. Is that on the schedule?
You lost 30-10.
Yeah, that was the week after Illinois State.
Okay, so that one I thought, I don't even remember the Illinois State, but I remember that one because it was sleeting.
Yeah.
And we came out of the locker room, and the movie Christmas Story? Y'all ever watch that?
Yeah.
Where the kid goes down the hill. Well, that's how I came out. And when we broke the huddle, like Nebraska's defensive line had their shirts tied up. And I thought, this is not good. But I do remember that. So, all right, go ahead.
Is there any? I mean, like you said, he has been to some of those other venues, but to make a first start on the road, is there an added challenge in that?
I mean, I guess. I mean, the comfort level at home, I would think, would be better than playing on the road. I mean, that's everybody, much less the guy making his first start. But Zane's been around, and he's been with us a long time, and the system's somewhat new to him, not 100%. So I would expect him to function just fine. I really would. Again, I will go back and say the coaches need to do a good job of preparing him and putting him in a good situation, and not get out of our box too much and put him in a position where he has to do a lot of thinking. We need to live on reps and not necessarily concepts.
Sounds like on your list of things you're maybe most concerned about heading out there, he's not at the top necessarily.
It's really not. I'm comfortable with him. As we talked about, it's a good football team. So I think if you play a good football team, no matter who it is, at home, you're going to be a little more comfortable. than you would play on the road. I think that would be consistent across the country. Now, when you play good football teams that are playing at a really high level, neutral sites, bowl games. We played Florida State down here at Jerry's World. You almost get the same feel, but I think he'll be fine. I do.
If you were looking for positive signs out of Zane in his first appearance, could you pick any more perfect ones in that scramble on third down? That's a competitive play.
He made a good throw down their sideline in a crucial time. We
Yeah.
talked about that after the game. He made a good scramble. He did some things check-wise that were good for a player that was first time out there. He's got a long ways to go, and you can go back and look at teams playing across the country, teams that have quarterbacks that are relatively new and inexperienced. It takes them a while to get going, but we understand that.
Does protecting Zane in the game plan become part of that because you don't want to afford him taking any more hits than necessary?
Well, I mean, we try to do that every play, but we got to play football. We're not going to go play scared. I mean, and I appreciate and understand the question because it's come up probably 6,000 times in the last 48 hours. So I understand that, but we have to go play football. And I don't believe in protecting and trying to limit certain things based on what could happen. Injuries happen. The way injuries happen sometimes are crazy now. Like nobody ever see. Like, how did he get hurt? We didn't even see this. And then you watch guys get hit and hit and hit and hit and hit, and they just keep getting up. So we need to go play football.
Was that the case with Haas? You talk about getting hurt and didn't see anything.
I'm not sure.
I watched back and I couldn't tell where he might have gone.
I don't necessarily even think it was on that play. So I'm not sure. I asked the same thing, and last time I asked that was yesterday morning, and nobody knew when it even happened. I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I just think he felt it and then tried to play a little bit longer, and then all of a sudden he said, this feels kind of funny. I don't think it happened on any specific play. Somebody said, oh, that's when it happened.
Sean mentioned to us that you know about Wendell Gregory, can't discuss the legal side of things, but do you expect him to make the trip?
Well, we will proceed as normal, and then if something changes, I'll have Sean let you guys know.
Mike, I'm not sure if you've been this big of an underdog in your career. I was trying to look it up before this, but does that do anything for you guys? Do you use that as motivation? It's just so rare that you've been on this side of a matchup.
I've never used any of those numbers. One, I've never paid attention to them. That was by design. Now you can't not avoid it because if you're just watching a game, they're running at the bottom of the TV. But I've never been aware of spreads and never paid much attention to them.
Are there specific areas, maybe outside of quarterback, because we've talked about that a lot, that you're curious, maybe certain position groups, different players, how they're going to stack up against this Oregon team?
Well, all of them. This is I've watched a lot on them, and they're a pretty well-rounded team. They've made, I said it earlier, they're well coached. They've made investments in a lot of areas, and it's, come true over the last couple of years for them. Us as a team in general, and the way that we play and compete against them, will be good.
Ryan McCoy is the guy we're hoping to talk to today. When you look back at film, what really stood out about his performance? Obviously, the numbers were great.
Well, I thought he was sound in his ability. He didn't overrun things. He played behind the ball when he needed to. But he's a very aggressive player. He loves to play football, and he loves to practice. And his demeanor and his approach with Oklahoma State football is like he's been here for 3 or 4 years. He loves Oklahoma State football. I mean, he's 100% committed to Coach Glass. He's 100% committed to this team. And that's what you would get if you ask around our facility about him. And in most cases, guys that do things like that end up being good players. Like Jalen Warren. He just signed a new deal. Well, he's the same attitude. Loved Oklahoma State football. Was only here a year, 9 months maybe. Loved Oklahoma State football. Committed to Coach Glass, committed to the culture. We're going to do everything I can do to do it right, and that's generally what happens.
Coach, in the second half, they spread you out, but they really did it to run up the middle. So your interior defensive line got a pretty good test. What did you see on tape of what they did, especially in the second half when they were trying to run
Well,
out?
they started reading the 3 technique and running some, different things where essentially you're running option football off a down lineman. So we had to make an adjustment with that. Coach Grantham's philosophy on defense is we need to contain and then build a wall up front. And so they did a good job, decent job in the last game. But this will give us a good feel for kind of where we're at in doing those things, because this will be, against a team that can probably play against anybody on any given day this year in college football.
Mike, in the this fall, we talked a lot about the potential depth on the defensive line and in the secondary. It felt like I saw more depth at the linebacker spot than I was expecting. It looked like you guys ran a decent amount of guys in and out of there. Were you expecting that many guys to play and play as well as they did?
Yes, we're going to play guys there. I don't know. How many guys did I play, new guys? Do anybody count them?
Oh,
Y'all should have checked my 27, right? So I'm gonna guess we were pretty close to that, and that was counting playing 4 or 5 guys in the linebacker group.
Jacoby Oliphant, one of those guys, started as a corner. Sort of how have you seen him develop in the year and change?
Yeah, they're playing him down some. He could play some nickel, could play inside some on passing downs and such. But he's so big. He's like 225 pounds now.
He was a big corner whenever you guys got him. Did you expect him to develop this much to where you're moving him all these different
I don't know that we expect him to develop that much, but he's going to end up being 230 plus. So he's going to live down closer to the ball than he is out there or back there.
Was that a development that came during fall camp, or was it earlier? Have you been trying to move him
we
up?
watched him over the summer. He was getting bigger and bigger, and it was good weight. So his body fat's less than 12%, and he's still getting up around 225. So you're not going to get him down to 215 anymore. He's only going to go up because he's just a redshirt freshman, I think. So he's going to be 230 plus, and it's just happened. Go ahead.
Did you guys go after a different maybe body type in linebackers with Todd? I mean,
Yeah, he has a different prototype. And to be fair, I don't know that it was, we went after a certain type of player or body type and they went after another. I think it's just this group was able to get those guys.
Like football players are football players. Can you talk about the transition that Brandon Rolls and Terrell Davis made going Division II to Division I and making that kind of impact?
Brandon fits the same mold as McCoy. Those two are like identical twins when it comes to how they feel about being at Oklahoma State. And so that'll give you an example of the reason he's playing well and getting all the reps and doing good. That's what he brings to the table. And then, at the wideout spot, that's one position that you can have guys, in my opinion, at maybe a level or two lower that can make that jump to this level if they have the physical attributes, because it's not as physical for them. Like offensive linemen, you got to really evaluate it based on the physicality at this level in the trenches is much different. But out on the perimeter, they can live in that world. So, we're looking for him to continue to make plays for us.
With Terrell, just watching the game, who you have in the room, y'all have a lot of competition at receiver. What did Terrell show you that sort of, how did he earn such a huge part of the offense?
Well, he's just productive in practice. He makes his catches, and he knows what to do. He's intelligent, and he was productive. And we've got a number of wideouts. We weren't able to get enough of them in enough. I mean, that's an issue now, is reps for everybody. But he was very productive in practice and understands, picked the system up, and did very well.
When you have this many guys at receiver, do you try to have some guys that maybe have plays that if we go to this, we like this guy at that because maybe he can do something different than other guys?
You can do that. Not all the time. I guess you could, but We're not a pure huddle team where we can do that, like they do a lot of that in the NFL, but we try to do some of it, but we can't get it done a lot of times. We can't in our system.
29. 29, I
29,
checked.
so that's pretty close. Yeah.
You mentioned a couple of times in postgame needing to get Christian Fitzpatrick more involved. Was that just the nature of the game that you couldn't target him more?
Well, we had some targets. We didn't connect with him. You know, we had him running wide open down the boundary one time and didn't get the ball to him on time. And the way certain things fell, he didn't become as much of a factor as what he needs to be, in my opinion. So we got to get him more involved. He's got some talent and he's got length and he's had success. He's got maturity. He's just one of the players we got to get involved more.
Going back to Zane for a second, he hadn't been in a live game in 2.5 years before he was out there on Thursday. What kind of impact, I mean, that's happened before, obviously. You've had guys that have been on the shelf for a while, but what kind of impact does that have on a guy when he hasn't played in a competitive situation like that?
I would think some. I've not ever been in that situation myself, but I would think that, you know, people use the term growing pains. I would think that it's just different when you hadn't played that long. We had another player. Well, I give Dugar, we have a freshman running back that didn't play high school football his senior year. And when he was in here practicing in August in a scrimmage, I said, you hadn't played in a real game in over a year and a half, and he said, yeah. And so with Zane, I'm sure there's a little bit of adjustment. Now, we do scrimmages, and he's played in live scrimmages when he was a freshman, not so much last year because he was hurt most of the year last year.
Does that sort of make you think there's a chance that he could really make strides in the next few weeks, just sort of getting back into?
I hope so. Everybody, you know, my message today to the team is going to be the same thing I told them the 1st of August. If you're not improving each week as an individual, and we don't improve as an offense and defense and special teams, and then as a unit, then we're not doing a good job of coaching. We have to improve each week, and it would be the same with him. He should improve a little bit each week.
You mentioned DJ Dugar. Could you tell that there was some rust for him when you first got him out there?
You know, not really. He started off hot. We were wondering what we were going to get with him, but he was rolling pretty good. He really was. But he likes to play football. So far, he acts like he really likes to play the game.
Did he communicate with you guys whenever he decided to sit out his senior year? Did y'all have any
It
input
was
on
all
that?
news to us.
Speaking of running backs, sir, do you feel like Rodney will be available for y'all this week?
I don't know. We'll have to see. I wouldn't be able to give you an answer on that.
And was Trent Howland an injury situation, or was it just not a situation for him to play?
No, he's available. Yeah.
Anything else?
We saw Casey Carpenter leave Thursday. Did you get
Trying
back
to
him?
ease injury stuff into me, right? You know, you do the same thing my wife does to me when I'm leaving to go out the door. She starts putting all that stuff on me. We don't have, I will tell you this about him, it's not a long-term injury. Good? What's that?
Sean Brown?
Deshaun? Yeah. Deshaun shouldn't be available this week. His is a little bit more long-term. Okay? Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.